Hey everybody, it is Aubrey Edwards here at AEW Unrestricted, and this is going to be a really fun episode because we're going to kind of recap some of our favorite guests and our favorite moments from the podcast this past year. This was a really transformative year for AEW Unrestricted. If you've been a subscriber the entire time, you know that I've gone through a myriad of co-hosts. Started the year with my close personal friend, Tony Schiavone, which I know is one of one of the most wonderful people on screen that our fans love, but also backstage is such a beloved person at AEW and such an important person to what we do. So I kind of knew going into the year that his responsibilities had increased, and I totally foresaw him kind of stepping back from the podcast, but I just want to give him his flowers because he has done so much for me in my career and in so many other people's careers. And to see him thriving backstage in his role has just been so, so wonderful. So for those of you that miss Tony Schiavone, I'm sorry, but know that he is helping AEW on a grander scale. So deal with it. Then we had Alex Abrahantes, who filled in, and just an incredible, incredible guy. And he's one of those guys at AEW that you tell him to jump, he says how high. He's already midway up the air. He does Spanish commentary. He does managing. He did podcast hosting. And then at the same time, he ends up working at QVC selling laptops for people. Like it's insane the number of things this guy does. And he's always insanely positive. Couldn't be more thankful. And then we got Will. And I love Will Washington. He's literally one of my best friends that I see at work. And every time I see him, my face lights up. And to see the things that he's done and what he's been capable of pulling off in his short time with us has been so great. The amount of podcasting experience he brought to this company has been so, so wonderful. He has been sort of the Excalibur to my Taz is the joke that I always say, because he's just so good about stats and remembering all of these amazing moments of all of our guests' careers. And I just couldn't be more thankful for doing this podcast for another year. So thank you to everyone who's been listening to AEW Unrestricted. We've got a number of good times that we're remembering today. So listen in on this brand new episode that is an awesome recap of AEW Unrestricted.
Unrestricted, got the house now. We gon' turn it up.
Hey everyone, and welcome to AEW Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. And I am finally joined once again by my wonderful co-host, Tony Schiavone. Where have you been, asshole?
Where you think I've been, bitch?
In your home, doing other shit. That's more important than hanging out with me.
Yeah, I'm
hanging out
with
with
my dog.
Bug, apparently.
And you see my new dog Kirby. See her walking around. She's
Kirby and Bug just hanging out.
Yeah,
no big
boy.
deal.
He doesn't want to have anything to do with her, man. It's like
that's animals in general. I have cats. They're both 17 years old. Same litter. They still hate each other. The last 17 years, man. It's just something about animals.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been catching up a little bit. So let's get to it. Let's get to the meat of this podcast and talk with our guest today, Prince Nana. Hello, how are you? Joining us from Brooklyn.
Yes, my good friends, Aubrey and Tony Schiavone. I'm finally here on the podcast Unrestricted. How are you? What are you giggling about, Tony? Why are you giggling?
Sing me a
You
song.
started giggling so early.
Sing me a song. We're in the money.
We in the money. We in the money. Do.
Oh man, you did that on the promo, and I almost fell out of my seat. I was thinking,
Listen, that is my celebration anthem whenever the embassy is number one. All right, when it comes to hit list. All right, my friends.
You got it, brother.
AEW Unrestricted is no longer a podcast. It is now a Broadway musical.
We're a musical tradition. We do musicals, we do soundtracks, all of that stuff when Prince Nana's involved. What are you having, some vodka this morning? That's some vodka you're having in your cup, Aubrey. I like it.
This is water.
Vodka, ladies and gentlemen.
This is water because it's 7 a.m. here in Seattle, and I am dying of thirst.
Oh, what a beautiful city Seattle was, by the way.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah.
The
Thank
fans,
you all.
The scenery, everything.
Yeah, everyone's like, why do you fly cross country every week? And it's like, well, if you lived here, you'd understand. And now that everyone's been here, they're like, oh, I get it. Okay. Let's stop talking about Seattle and how awesome Seattle was for AEW. Let's talk a little bit about Ring of Honor And I know
Yes.
you're just talking about Embassy being number one. Cage, Khan, Tawa, they defeated Dalton Castle and the boys. Ring of Honor, 6-man tag team championship. What did it mean for you in the Embassy to capture those titles?
Oh man, with a tear in my eye, all right. Me and the Embassy, we headed downtown, all right, over where we were in Texas, all right, and we had some shrimp cocktails, all right. It was flowing all night long, the shrimp cocktails, my friends, all right. One day I'll put you on to exactly how that goes, because we have sauteed ones, we have grilled ones, we have a whole bunch of different, celebration foods. And for the Embassy to bring in the 6-man world title at Final Battle, which is, the grandfather of events for Ring of Honor, it was truly a blessing, all right? And, those guys, they took my advice, all right? They took the direction that Prince Nana and the Embassy wanted to take them, and we took them to the promised land, and there's more promised lands to go.
I didn't know
I don't know
shrimp
how to
was something you could define as flowing, but apparently that's a verb you can add to shrimp.
I don't know how to follow that up.
It's hard. It's very hard to follow it up because it's a statement of reality, my friends, all right?
Well, welcome to AEW Unrestricted. This has been an amazing podcast.
There you go. We're changing it up, all right?
Yeah.
The mood has changed.
Without going into your past in Ring of Honor, which we will do.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to talk about how you started in pro wrestling, how you came to this country from Ghana. I mean, that's a great story.
I was an exchange student, all right, and
right.
I was very excited about America. You look at TV, and you see all the people dancing and people being mean with each other, but then being nice afterwards. I wanted to be a part of it, So I went to John Dewey High School in Brooklyn, New York. All right, which is one of the prestigious high schools in the New York City area. Foxy Brown went there, Angie Martinez, Shad Gaspard went there, Ricklin Stevens, who they call him, I forget what they called him. But a couple of pro wrestlers went to that school, but I was actually the first pro wrestler to get trained by Johnny Rods, all right, the unpredictable Johnny Rods. I started training with him in 95, 96. Okay. And when I was training with Johnny Rods, I was training with Big Vito. I was training with A-Train, which is known as Devon Dudley. All right. Mm-hmm. A gentleman by the name of Fabian Street. And we used to have a whole host of characters coming down from Taz all the way down to, you name it. They came to Johnny Rod's school. So I did that for about 7 years because I was a kid when I started with Johnny. All right. I was a little boy. All right. Maybe about 15 years old, something like this. So I started with him as a photographer, shooting all the different events. All right. I used to shoot Devon in his early years before he got to ECW. I used to shoot Skull Von Crush, which is Vito. Right. Tony worked with him many, many years. Sure and then the training that I had with those guys were grueling. They would come, bring me in the ring, throw me around, pick me up, throw me down, get up, fight back, don't fight back. You better sell. You better move a little bit more. So all the training that I did at Gleason's gym with Johnny Rods and the rest of the team there, it was the culmination of where I am today. If I didn't have that training there, it wouldn't have given me what I have today. And I definitely have to give a shout out to one of my other trainers who basically trained me on the technique of, doing shows and kind of doing TV. His name is Jim Kettner, all right, the founder of ECWA in Delaware. He used to run the Super 8 tournament. So those are my trainers, and that's how I got started. It started in 96. I didn't get my big break, all right, until I did a show at Madison Square Garden, and I wrestled, I believe it was Crash Holly, rest in peace.
Wow. That's okay. I know we're going to keep going on to the story, but that little snippet.
That's our whole second segment right there.
Yeah, no, it's like we just jumped right ahead and just let's talk about all the cool shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about, Prince. But one of the coolest things I want to talk about is the first day you arrived with us, because that was kind of last minute, wasn't it?
Oh man, Actually,
Yeah.
one of my executive producers, he's sitting here right now. He's a producer. His name is Gizzy G. We were having a business meeting that morning. Kind of like just going over what the plans were for the rest of this year and moving on. And we were doing it early. It was August. So we were doing, kind of like going through those things. I had just gotten back from Los Angeles doing some independent dates out there. And I was thinking to myself, I don't want to say that I was thinking to myself, is it time for me to hang it up? I don't want to say
Sure.
that, but
Okay.
I was more contemplating what more can I do to give back as much as I can to the wrestling business without seeming selfish. Because being on TV, it's a uh, it's an opportunity. All right, it's not something that everybody gets. So I wanted to make sure I gave back in some kind of way. But anyway, we were sitting down having our discussion. It was like probably 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And yes, I've been to the AEW shows in the past because I have a ton of friends who are, supportive of me and they know that I support the product. And boom, I got a text out of nowhere from one of the executive producers at AEW. All right. Uh, he was like, "Hey, listen, are you local? Are you in the area? We're having a situation where you can purchase something from us." So we made the talk. We had the little discussion. All right. And next thing you know, boom, Prince Nana has a lot of money. So money is not an issue. Okay. Money is not an issue. Okay. So Prince Nana, boom, was in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. We got the Tony Blanchett situation out of the way. He's a great legend that I respect. And there's nobody else that, nobody's shoes that I would like to fill more than Tully Blanchard. So like everything that I did in the wrestling business came together in one day on July 23rd. And I'll always remember that day, and I'll always remember all the people involved. I met Tony Khan that day. I met him before, but I met him again that day. And what a great meeting we had. And man, the shrimp cocktails that night, my friends, oh my God. They had the big ones, the big juicy ones,
Yeah.
I mean, in Boston.
I also met Prince Nana that day for the first time, and I remember, I think it was Sanjay maybe who said to me, "Prince Nana's coming. You're going to love him," and he was right, man. You are
Thank you
such
so
a
much.
treat backstage. You really are.
Tony it's interesting because Tony, before even Tony got to AEW and they started doing his stuff at AEW, he hit me up on Twitter, followed me back, and was like, "Big fan, Prince Nana," and that's all he said. And that was a really, really great thing before AEW. So I appreciate that.
I am Aubrey Edwards, otherwise known as the David Brunner of AEW. We'll get into that a little bit. But,
in addition to being a variety of other names, Aubrey, but they're all good. They're all good.
They're all
Yes,
good. We'll get into that
indeed.
today. I'm very excited about this guest. First off, thank you
too.
again, Alex Abrahentes, for being here today.
Anytime.
As our guest co-host. There is a running theory that Tony Schiavone, while he's busy and typically can't make podcast recording times, that he found out we had RJ City on today and intentionally decided he wasn't going to be here. So
I
welcome
heard that
to the
rumor
show,
true.
RJ
I heard
City.
it too, but I just wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah, no. I'll take the heat for it. I want to lay it out. I've had
Yes.
a conspiracy in my mind for about, I would say 3 or 4 months now
Ooh.
that Tony Schiavone has heat with me. And I want to clarify, it's nothing that Tony has ever done. I did an interview, a AEW interview with Jade Cargill. And one of my questions was, why are Tony Schiavone's shit so big?
I remember that.
And that was it was a thing on the show. And then when the episode came out, somebody wrote, "Oh, what was Tony Schiavone's reaction?" And I thought, well, I don't know, because I don't work with him. I see him maybe in the hall once a month, and that's it. And then I got it in my head that he saw it and hated it and has been avoiding me. So every interaction I've had with him since, I've colored it in my head. that meanwhile, who knows if he's even seen it? And then I thought, should I have cleared it with him? I have no idea. So I came on here for the podcast, and I thought I would be getting the Aubrey Shivani experience, and then no Tony, conveniently missing. And then so I likened it to when Johnny Carson would take off and David Brenner would co-host, and they would have guests on that Johnny didn't personally like.
Okay, that's a fair theory.
Yeah,
that is a fair theory.
It is a fair theory. Very, very fair. Where was I going to go with this? Oh my God. So you've got heat with Tony Schiavone. You actually have heat.
I don't
with
have
me now
heat.
too.
Okay, why? Please go ahead.
Oh,
okay.
This is good. Breaking
here's
news.
Here's the thing. So there is a Italian tradition that, and I learned this when I married into an Italian family, that when you eat your meal, whatever, you've got your appetizers, your sides, your main course, all that. And at the end of the meal, there is a salad. And every time I'm at my in-laws' house, my mother-in-law's like, you have to eat your salad. I'm like, no, Gina, nobody wants to eat the fucking salad. We wanted to fill up on like lasagna and all this delicious stuff. Like, I don't want to eat a salad. I don't want to I don't need a palate cleanser. I want to remain have lasagna on my palate still. So I was discussing this with RJ in catering as he's eating this fruit. I'm like, why are you eating all the fruit? You just had this wonderful thing. And he's like, oh, it's a palate cleanser. I'm like, no, we don't do that here. You have the fruit first. Enjoy it. Like, what is the problem? So I've just decided that we have heat because of
Alex, listen to those exclusionary words. We don't do that here.
Wait a second. But I'm so confused. A salad is so completely different than fruit. Fruit could be considered a dessert, could it not?
It could, but the way he had it assembled, it could be believed to be a fruit salad.
Yeah. I was taught the fruit is maybe a digestive. First of all, fruit is not good to have on an empty stomach because it's so acidic.
Wow.
Right? Not that good for you. It's not to agree or disagree. That it's biological. It's not an opinion piece here. But I had that fruit salad. AEW does wonderful job on the fruit spread, and I think it goes often unused. People load up on the lasagnas and the sweet potato fries and the what have you. And I wanted to lend some credence to the fruit department. So I was actively enjoying a bowl of fruit. Really.
That was very kind of you.
It was kind of me. And, you hold it up to the chef and you give them a little nod hey, some fruit.
Tell Sabrina, hey, kill it with the fruit.
And Aubrey just could not stand to be seated next to me while I was doing this.
Wow, the things you learn here at Unrestricted. I mean, my goodness.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Oh, my God. All right. Well, I don't know. Do you have heat with Alex, RJ? I feel like you have to.
I don't. I actually enjoy Alex a lot, and I binged a few of his videos, including his How to Burn a CD.
Yes, I'm famous for that.
Yeah, on my algorithm, and I thought, wow, let's click on this. And it's so funny to hear Alex's, wrestling fans aren't listening to this voice. You know what I mean? Like a real professional human being. And I'm like, wow.
Well, thank you.
As opposed to now.
Voice.
Yes. And then the next thing I know, 40 minutes have gone by. And I'm just deep into this informative world.
But did you learn how to burn a CD?
I did. I'll never apply that knowledge, but I learned
it. Of course not.
2023. I think that knowledge is a little dated now, but it's still important to know.
You'd be surprised.
Understand the history. I mean, if I had to burn one today, I'd be screwed. I don't even think I have a CD-ROM drive. So I don't know if half our roster even knows what a CD-ROM drive is.
I love how you're talking about useful YouTube videos to a person who often sits through PBS station identification supercuts.
Oh my God.
They're so relaxing. Wow. Alex is very relaxing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Soothing. Some people listen to ASMR videos. Some people listen to Alex Abrante.
Yes.
Maybe I should combine both.
Oh my God. I would listen. I would listen to the old computer start up with that hot air.
Or the Intel logo.
Yes. Is this about me? Do you have any questions about me?
We do have some questions about you.
So we talked a little bit about, you came in with the Gun Club, and correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we had you on this podcast, which by the way is still one of my favorite episodes we've ever done, and my sister reminds me every week. She listens to all the podcasts and she goes, this one was good. The Billy Gunn one is still better. So thank you for that, by the way. Side note, back to what I was talking about. When you came into AEW, you were just coaching. And then the pandemic happened. You start wrestling with your actual biological sons. And then eventually they disown you and you adopt the Acclaim. But both of these groups of sons have won the tag team championships. So how does that make you feel as a father, as a wrestler, as a mentor, as a coach? What does that mean to you?
So it means the world to me. It means that, like, if I retire, I'm good. Because that's like how many people actually got to do that? Like, I know the second generation is a thing, but I've literally got to be in a company. You know, Austin at first went to ROH, and then that didn't work out. And then, and everybody know this, I did not lend a hand in getting my kids jobs. That's just not me. That's not who I am. I will help you in every breath and every means that I have to get you to where you want to get to. But getting jobs and becoming who you are is all on you. And it wasn't ever just a thing because I did it doesn't mean that you have to do this. But luckily both of them are really good and they're starting to come into their own, and to be able to work with them and watch them, and then they just needed to go on their own and then pick right up with the Acclaim and get to help them and watch them. Just being around them and watching them grow and how excited they get when they learn new things. And I think the worst part is me being on the side and telling them what to do and when to do it, because they like to blow right through things. So it's they're like, Dad, please stop yelling at us.
You're like, slow down.
It's not so much yelling as it is to get you to pay attention, because half the time I'll sit there and yell and they won't hear anything because they're so engulfed in what they're doing. So we tune out what's going around us when all the really good things are out here. They're not in here. So just being able to work next to all of them, to watch them grow, to watch them, discover wrestling and discover themselves and being amongst themselves and just having fun and just getting in a flow and watching how good they are. Like, the four of them are so good, and and they get better every day. And the thing about being with the Acclaim is I get to sit there, and half the time it's just me and Max, because Anthony's still in this wrestling mode where he still likes to wrestle. And me and Max, so whenever we want that, we go, okay, Anthony, go do your thing. Me and Max will sit here. When when things go awry, we'll turn to everybody and go like this, and we'll get them back on board. Like, that's where we're at. Like, it's bad for them because they want to wrestle so bad. I said, but it's going to do you no good, because all they're waiting for is this. So that's it, baby. And it's, on one hand, it's awesome because that's, you can pick them back up when there's a lull spot or a dead space. That's all you have to do. And they'll come right back to life. Not that there is ever a dull spot when we're out there. But it's the ultimate career that I've had. I've got to, do some amazing things. I get to watch my kids do their thing. I get to watch my other kids do their things right next to them and win a championship with them. And it just doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. And they're all such like sponges. Like they come to you and they come to me all the time and they'll ask stuff. And I think that's what was good about our group. And then the Acclaim group is we have team meetings every week. Like, it's a thing. And I'm not a, just because I've done these things, I'm not telling you what to do. If I'm giving you suggestions, because this is y'all's career now. Mine is pretty much over. I'm just here as a mentor and to help. That's what I want to do. I want to help you do and become bigger stars than I ever was. And That's so where nobody struggles for any position. It's all, we have meetings, we go, hey, what do you think about this? And we all, you know, give our opinions on what we think we should do or what we shouldn't do. And that's what makes groups the most successful, is not jockeying for positions. You know, we did the same thing in DX. Everybody knew their spot. Everybody knew what they were doing. Nobody's jockeying to do anything. Nobody's stabbing anybody in the back to do anything. And the kids with the Bullet Club stuff that they're doing, I think they're the same. We're this, you know, same thing. Nobody's jockeying for anything, and everybody knows their spot. And that's when great things happen.
We're talking with Roderick Strong about just his storied career thus far, and we've been talking about Ring of Honor. And there's a man that I think you had a rivalry with that really put you on the map. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot. How do I put this? I can't think of somebody I've seen you face more across multiple promotions than one Bryan Danielson. You guys had a famous trilogy of matches in Ring of Honor, but you guys have faced each other really across the indies. But talk to me a little bit about working with Bryan Danielson and that time of your career.
Where do I start? One, it was just super nerve-wracking. I say that when I originally was told just our first matchup, I was so nervous because, you know, he was one of the guys, and you just like start looking up to these people, you know, your peers, because he's not that much older than me, but at the time, like, his experience was just so different because he went to, you know, Shawn Michaels' school. Which a funny thing is, I actually tried to go to Shawn's school, but I was too young. I was 16 at the time, so my parents wouldn't let me, and they probably wouldn't have taken me anyways. But I just knew it was my opportunity to, like, it's like sink or swim with him. And I don't know, those are definitely like the most important matches of my career in the sense of learning and you know, wrestling someone, you know, like, I don't know, we just brought out something in each other that, you know, I probably wouldn't have found if I wouldn't have been working with him. So it was, to me, the most important set of matchups I've ever had.
Yeah, talking about, you know, famously, you guys went almost 60 minutes. You guys had the 1 hour time limit match for the title and it went 56 minutes. How do you prepare, especially at that stage of your career, for a 60-minute match?
Well, good thing I was busy wrestling. That's how you prepare. Just keep doing it as much as you possibly can. And a little crazy thing about that, I'd actually torn my calf muscle like a week. There was like a little tear in it, like a week before that match. And I was so scared that I was just going to drop the ball. I was like, oh my God, I am not prepared for this. But, you know, he's a freaking pro. And, you know, as time went on, my confidence rose in the match. I wasn't as scared. But yeah, just hearing that number, 60 minutes, like, even though, like, it was like we had went 37 minutes, 47 minutes, but just as it incrementally gets higher, you're like, oh my God, I do not know how I'm going to do in here. And yeah, no, it was awesome though.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't think I have the cardio for something like that.
Yeah. Well, I ended up having a 60-minute match with Jay Lethal in Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. And that's true. That was one of my favorite matches I've ever had too, just because it was a war and it was so hot in there. It was like it was just so hot, but so much fun. Like, he's one of my favorite opponents that I've ever had, like Jay.
We have one of the funnest guests. I'm sure this will be a fantastically fun interview. One of the most amazing human beings in the world, one of the happiest people in the world. I'm just so happy he's here because he lights up a room every time he's here. Mark Briscoe, welcome to AEW Unrestricted. How you doing, Mark?
What's up? I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Good. Will, how are you?
I'm really good. And honestly, I'm really excited to have you guys in the same place because... Yes.
There is a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. Matter of fact, we can't even get into a true discussion here about anything before we talk about you two teaming up. The two of you. were in a six-person
with
tag.
Papa Briscoe.
Yeah, with Papa Briscoe on Rampage.
Oh my God.
You guys took on Karen Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett, and of course Jay Lethal. So
yes.
First off, teaming with Aubrey, Mark, what was that like?
Well,
what was it like?
I do respect Aubrey. I respect your decision, your retirement. I respect it. I'm there for you. But
undefeated.
But yeah, undefeated. Just like our fellow, our other partner, Papa Briscoe. He's undefeated, and but I just want to let you know, if you ever decide to come out of retirement, we might have to go on a run, on a tear as the most destructive mixed trios team in the history of history.
I mean, go ahead, Will.
Well, no, I mean, like, Aubrey, like, honestly, like, it's one thing to retire undefeated, but you are undefeated by submission.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's a badass for you right there.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's I never wrestled. I never intended to wrestle. I was like perfectly content, yelling at dudes and shouting rules and stuff. So when this whole thing happened, I'm like, sure, whatever. We're just going to ride the ride and see how it all works out. And then I heard I was tagging with Mark and his dad. I'm like, okay, this is pretty much the greatest thing in the world. Like, and it's not even like hyperbole, right? Like, this is so wonderful and amazing. And Papa Briscoe, by the way, like, Mark already is an amazing human being, but like, Papa Briscoe is just the sweetest person I've ever met. And he was immediately like, I was like, oh, this is like my dad. Like, he's just super proud of me. He was hugging me after, like, you did so great. I'm so proud of you. I'm like, yeah, we did it. This is awesome.
Damn right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, like, tell me about like how that all came together. Like, what led to the decision for you to use the figure 4 specifically?
I mean, it felt kind of like a badass move to just use Jay Lethal's finisher against his teammate. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to put like a period on everything, like, all right, here, this is how we're going out.
Right. Stamp it.
Right. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
I remember being in the discussion when all of this like was starting to come about, and then when it was brought up, and look, I'm a big Ring of Honor guy, so knowing a lot of the history of Ring of Honor, when I heard that Papa Briscoe was going to be a part of this, I got really excited. Mark, when did you find out that this was all going to happen, and what was your reaction to teaming again? So teaming with Papa Briscoe and teaming with Aubrey.
Well, I tell you, it was once the pay-per-view match with FTR and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, when you know what I mean, when Karen stuck her nose in there, and then Aubrey.
That bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And then she had the audacity to do what she did to Aubrey. At that point, I was like, okay, there's got to be some comeuppance with at least Aubrey. I'm going to help Aubrey get her comeuppance. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, we outnumbered here, and it's a weird dynamic because it's it's mixed tag team action. And I've said I'm not going to have any more tag team matches. I'm done with 2-on-2 tag team matches. Mm-hmm. So we got brainstorming. It's like, hold up. You know what might be just crazy enough to work? Just like the bat signal in the sky, calling the big man.
I think my favorite part of all of that too is like the timing of everything. Like, the match was in Washington, D.C. You yourself are from the Northeast. So it was just like, this is too good. Like, and Washington, D.C. is where Sanjay's from. So it felt really good to especially like, beat his team and kind of where he's the big deal. So yeah, it's like, it's weird the way wrestling works, where it all kind of comes down to just timing.
It really is.
Just perfect. And
it really is.
It was, oh man. Yeah, so this match was wild. There was promos, there was backstage segments, and then I felt like I had to follow up Mark with my own sleeveless ref tank top. Like, sure, there wasn't camo, like I can't rock that, but I threw a little bedazzled on. That was fine.
Oh, you crushed it.
I loved it so much. Like, I told you at the time, I was like, I want to see this like every week. Just go out there with this with the bedazzling. Like, honestly, I want to see Ref Aubrey in the back like every single time. It was great.
Dude, the amount of people that have asked me, like, are you going to sell this shirt? I'm like, we don't even sell standard ref shirts. Like, like, no. Like, I'm very happy. It was a wonderful experience. I could not have asked for anything better. Like, everyone involved in this, from the planning to the execution to Sarah Stock, who is helping us kind of put it all together. Like, I could not be happier, but I also could not be happier that it's done. Like, I was so sore that day, and I'm like, I barely took a bump. Like, Karen kind of took everything because I kicked her ass, but like, oh my God, like, I have so much more appreciation for wrestlers, and Mark especially, for like carrying my ass through that whole thing. Because like, I took a hot tag, came in, had about 2 minutes, and then called it. I'm like, there was a whole like 6 minutes before then.
See, you and Dad got that. You and Papa Briscoe got that it factor. Like, y'all got that less is more. Y'all ain't even got, y'all just show up, make that money, and leave.
Yeah, he comes in, throws a couple lariats. I throw on a figure four, bash somebody with a guitar. Like, it's done. Money's made. Good business, brother. Let's get the hell out.
Damn right. Head to the pay window.
Oh, my God. Well, before we wrap up, we had a number of fan questions that come in, and I want to get through a couple of these before we say goodbye. But there was a question, and I think this really, really speaks true to kind of everything we've talked about, from the Michael Murray on Twitter. What's the one thing that you hope people will always remember about Dem Boys?
Oh, shoot. That we the damnedest tag team, the baddest tag team, you know what I mean? Never turned down from a fight. And the range that we had, where we could do the technical matches, or we could do the spot fest, or we could do the hardcore, or whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, we could do it from whatever spot on the show. If they want the first match, if they want the main event, if they want anything in between, if they want this, that, or the other, cage match, ladder match, any kind of stipulations, like, we got you. It ain't no problem. Like, we got you. Like, I think as a team, and I hate sounding like I'm bragging, but I don't think any team could really hit so many different genres of pro wrestling and knock it out the park like me and Jay.
You brighten a room every time you walk in. Like, your smile, you come in and everyone's just like, man, Mark Briscoe's here. This is going to be fucking great. Like, it's going to be a good day when Mark's here.
Hey, I appreciate that, Aubrey.
Of course, man. Thank you so much for being here today and having this conversation with us.
Hey, right. Thank y'all. This was cool.
This is very cool. Thank you, Mark. You can follow Mark on Twitter at Sussex Co Chicken and on Instagram at m.briscoesr. And of course, listen to this podcast, new episodes every Thursday, all your favorite podcast platforms. You can check out the video episodes on YouTube and see Mark's awesome cat sitting with him on the chair. Kitty. Yeah, there we go. Kitty.
Queen
awesome.
Kitty Poopy.
Queen Kitty Poopy.
First. I thought she was because I set the camera up and I thought she would probably go on her way, but she's perfectly content.
She co-hosted the whole time. What a cat. You can watch Dynamite Wednesdays. You can watch ROH on Thursdays. You can watch Rampage Fridays. You can watch Collision Saturdays. We're all over the place. You can see this incredible person wrestle on TV. Mark Briscoe, thank you so much. This is Aubrey Edwards along with Will Washington. Thank you for listening to AEW Unrestricted.